Now, without further ado, let me hand over the stage to Prajakta and Shabnam.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thank you so much for being so warm. It's my first time in Orissa, and I don't believe I've taken so long to come to Bhubaneswar. Your city, your landscape, everything is beautiful, and you all are even more beautiful. So thank you so much for a very warm welcome, and I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you so much for that very nice intro as well.
I'll start. Okay. So I'm really hopeful that you all have heard about the phenomenon in publishing called Too Good to Be True, which is Prajakta's first book. As the publisher of Too Good to Be True, we really had an amazing time publishing it, and I personally marketed it. So I can tell you that the 14-city whirlwind tour that we had for Too Good to Be True was something not yet witnessed. So I am just going to chat with Prajakta a little about what that journey was like, her own experience as a writer first, and I'll come in between to get questions from you guys as well once I'm done with my questions. So if you can patiently give me some time for that. My first question to Prajakta will be about your writing journey and how it was with Too Good to Be True, thinking about the concept, why romance, and why this particular title, Too Good to Be True.
Lots of questions. Have you all heard about the book? Yes. Have any of you read it? Yes. Okay, even if I get 2 yeses, I'm good. So, if you've read it and are you all also romance fans? So if you all are romance fans and if you've read my book, you'll know that it's one of the most, for a lack of a better term, but I find a lot of pride in making it that, but one of the most ordinary telling of what I think are beautiful characters. I don't think there's anything that was groundbreaking or something that we've never heard. I have really dived into things that brought me comfort as a romance fan every time I had to write the book. Every time I had to write a chapter, I've gone back to things that made me feel very happy about romance as a genre. So that is why romance, because I miss romance. I've grown up a fan of romance in general. It was very strange for me when I started making YouTube videos that were, I tried to be funny, so those were attempted comedy. But Mismatched came through and I fit right in because that is something that was very close to my heart. And that's when I realized that I really do miss romance, and that's how this started. The book was actually supposed to be a show that I was trying to write. I was trying to write a 6-part series, but I have absolutely no formal training in screenplay writing or dialogue writing. I only started acting professionally about 5 years ago, so there was no experience there. The only way that I knew to write was how I used to make my journal entries when I was growing up, and I found a lot of joy in making those. So I started writing the story of Too Good to Be True as a journal entry from Aman and Avni, who are my male and female protagonists. Oh. Was that me? No. It's a sound system. Okay, good. But you can hear me. Okay. So that's how it started. I just started writing excerpts. It was called Too Good to Be True because if you read the book, I wanted my male main character to be unbelievable, not real. There is no way you'll find a man like that in real life, and that is where I find my comfort in my fictional boyfriends. Because if I had to be with someone who could be real, then why would I go to books? So everything about Aman is ridiculously unreal, and that's what I like about it. That's why, and he's too good to be true, is why the book name.
Moving on.
See, something did go wrong here.
Hello. Moving on from why romance and why Too Good to Be True, I'd like to ask. Relatability is something which is at the core of the content that you create and which we have all enjoyed over the years. How relatable? You did say that Aman is too good to be true, but how relatable is Avni while building up the character? Were there aspects of your own self that you built into Avni's character?
Oh, 100%. Thank you. I also think that because this was my first time writing a book, I have held on to whatever the lowest hanging fruit was whatever was easiest for me to help with character development, whatever was easiest for me to lean on when it came to writing a whole book. 370 pages is a lot of pages. So even getting myself to actually put that many words to paper was a huge task. I don't believe that I actually went through with it. So for me, because it was my first one, it was easier to lean on my personality traits. There's this one thing that Avni has, where she has a very conflicting inner monologue constantly running, and I knew that I had to make that a very prominent part of her character in her telling. So that was definitely there. A lot of things about her are how I think, but a lot are also not. So I feel like it was a good learning for me for my first book, and I learned from that moving on to my other books, so that all characters are not just me.
We look forward to more characters coming from your pen. The other question for me is, like how much you read a lot. You're a voracious reader. You're always seen with your Kindle in hand. So how much of reading other books informed your own process? And this is a question that I want to make out to aspiring writers. And they're always encouraged to read a lot to write better. Would you agree with that as an advice?
100%. I mean, I didn't start reading, although I've been such a fan of romance for some reason, although I've been a reader all through my life growing up, I never really picked up a romance book till I was 28. That's 3 years ago. And that's surprising because most people who are into romance pick romance books a lot earlier in life. Like, I never went down the whole Mills and Boons and dirty comics and none of that. But when I did pick it up, what it helped me with was understanding how a story can be told simply. For me, dual POVs, jahan pe ek chapter is from the female main character's voice and the other chapter is from the male main character's voice, is the most exciting form of storytelling, because then I don't have to sit and keep guessing, oh, but what is he thinking right now? What is he reacting? Like, I love the conversation that happens between chapters. So that route for me as an author kind of opened up when I did read more. And I think I've read enough dual POV books now to know that I love them.
So there we go. Read a lot more if you want to write. And moving on to reading, to the act of visiting bookstores, which we did a lot when we were doing the book tour. We went to a lot of bookstores all across India. We had an overwhelming response from young readers especially. And I would like to point it out here that a lot of new readers joined us in their reading journey, and their discovery point was too good to be true, actually. So Prajakta, talk to us a little about that. When you meet these young Indians who got onto the reading bandwagon with Too Good to Be True, and they told you about that.
I was honestly very, very surprised. So, to just tell you a little bit about me, I started making content in 2015. That's a decade ago. I started making comedy content on YouTube. Then I used to do theater before, but I started doing content on YouTube. Then I started acting. Then I went back to theater. Writing is very, very new for me. So I always knew that a huge chunk of my organic reach is not people who read. Because when I started sharing about the books I was reading, I found a different community online. But I knew that this wasn't organically the people who had subscribed to me. And this also wasn't why people had subscribed to me. So I actually had no confidence in this. It's just funny that Shabnam and I are sitting here and she's interviewing me almost. But she's been with me through this journey. She's a very important part of the book. But I remember can I flex a little bit?
Yes, please.
A little bit, because I'm very proud of what an internet community can do for a creator like me. When we first, with my publisher HarperCollins and I, when we did a projection meeting, ki how many books can Prajakta sell? In the lifetime of Too Good to Be True, I remember telling my publishers that my aim is 10,000. If I sell 10,000, no, it gets better. If I sell 10,000 books, I'll consider this a win for my first book in the lifetime of Too Good to Be True. Okay? My publisher said, you know what, Prajakta? Projection to aspirational ho sakta hai. So let's do 30,000 books. And I was like, no. I said, I'm sorry, but each book is priced at like $400, 500. Like, I don't think 30,000 people are going to put so much money, time, effort, and dedication into a book which is 370 pages when you're not a reader. When we finished the book tour, which was in the mid of Feb, when the book had been out for 1 month, I got a call from our publishers telling me that I've sold more than 170,000 books, which is 170,000 books. I didn't know how to respond to it. So honestly, if you ask me, I am as baffled at the numbers. Because I started with a number as small as now in my head seems small, but then seemed like a mountain as 10,000. And now inching close to 200,000 is a number that was unfathomable for me. But I needed that validity. I needed that validation coming organically from my audience to actually be like, okay, fine, all right, I can write more. I can do more. And one of my favorite things, two of my favorite things that people said to me, number one was that your book got me out of a reading slump. And as someone who keeps hitting reading slumps very often, I know how grateful I am to the books that get me out of them. And number two was everyone who came to me and told me that, oh my God, this is my first book, which I was very baffled with. I was like, you're 27 years old, how have you not read a book? But they were like, no, we're going to read more now. So it's quite magical for someone like me who is sitting in my room, working on my laptop, thinking ki chalo 10,000 log to khareed le. But reaching this has honestly been quite phenomenal, and I'm very, very grateful. So very excited for more, but it's been quite a ride.
So, from influencing reading culture in India and creating a moment, in publishing where we're always worried that young Indians are not reading as much, but with your book, we saw like a vastly different response. Is there anything that you think we should do, like, as consumers, as potential readers, to enhance reading culture in India? Anything that comes to your mind as a writer, as a creator, as someone who's a voracious reader herself, what more can we do to just enhance that reading culture?
This might be a slightly unpopular opinion, and you might not like me for it. But I also think that we put too much pressure on books. I feel like we expect too much from each book. Different books are going to do different things to different people. I don't think you should go into reading everything like it's going to be life-changing. Sometimes it's just a palate cleanser. Sometimes it's just a snack. It doesn't have to be a meal every single time. Sometimes the smallest of stories will change your life, and sometimes self-help books piled on your desk will not do much. So I think if we go into reading as readers a little less prejudiced, a little less presumptuous, I think we might just enjoy the process a little bit more. Not judge a book by who's written it or how has this person written a book, or when did this person start writing a book, or that person said this book is not nice. I genuinely think that you should form those opinions for yourself when it comes to different books, because I have read books that I saw reviews of that were terrible, but I've enjoyed them and I've had a great time reading them. And then there were books that everyone was like, you're a reader, how you have not read this classic? And I couldn't get through the 4th page. So I think we're all different with that. So I think we should just go into reading a little less serious.
Noted on that. And while we sample different books across genres and keep an open mind about them, tell me about, your journey as someone who's worked as an actor, has created her own content, now has taken to writing books. Which of these forms of content creation you'd call your favorite?
I don't think I can pick, is why I think it keeps changing, but I still love that I don't have to pick also. Because in each form, as an artist, I get to still create. I think, so I don't think I can pick. However, writing by far is the most challenging thing I've done. I think there is nothing that has been scarier than actually telling myself that I'm going to write a book, and then I wrote a book, and then I had the guts to publish it, and you all published it also. So, collective guts.
Proud and privileged to have published you, Prajakta. Looking forward to more. And do tell us about some books that are currently on your shelf and few books that have inspired you. So just like 2 and 2 of those.
So many. I'll quickly say. One of the first books to make me fall in love, one of the first series of books to make me fall in love with reading was Tinkle Comics. I'm obsessed with Tinkle. It is where my love for reading began. Archies Varchies तो we couldn't even afford at that time. ठीक है, Tinkle तो I used to take a राजधानी से हम मुंबई से दिल्ली जाते थे and Baba used to buy me 2 Tinkle comics every time and my goal was to finish those and that's how I fell in love with reading. The Diary of a Young Girl, which is Anne Frank's diary, is a very, very monumental book in my life. It was given to me when I was in 9th grade by my mother. Murakami's Norwegian Wood. Everything Chitra Banerjee touches or breathes or looks at should be worshipped. So The Last Queen, Palace of Illusions, Forest of Enchantments. When it comes to biographies, a book that has really worked for me as a Princess Remembers, which is Rajmata Gayatri Devi's biography. If you haven't read it, please read it. It has pictures, so it's even more fun. Karan Johar's autobiography, An Unsuitable Boy, I think was really nice. I said The Last Queen. Everything romance ever. Just pick it up if you like romance. And a book that I'm looking forward to reading, I forget what it's called. That's not a great way to start talking about a book. I've got a long. Hang on. Can I show it
Yes,
to you?
please.
It's on
Yes.
my to be read. Oh, one is Trevor Noah's Born a Crime.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and I want to read things by Susan Sontag,
Uh-oh.
and I want to read In Pursuit of Democracy.
Wow. That's
These are
quite
the-
a varied list.
Yeah, because I met a bunch of really fun readers when my audiobook was coming out. So they gave me these. So these 3 are top right now.
Between the ways in which you consume books, okay, like physical books, on Kindle, on audio, any particular ones that you prefer more than the other?
I was that person who kept saying I would never move to a Kindle. I'm too loyal to my books. I need to smell the page and I need to feel that. But I moved to a Kindle and I haven't gone back since. So that's rather hypocritical of me. I'm obsessed. My Kindle is my emotional, like my bottle that you have my bottle. So my bottle and my Kindle are attached to me at all times. They are my emotional support objects. But I quite enjoy audiobooks as well because I realize that I don't have to stop reading a book when I have to do something with my hands. If I have to eat, cook, do my makeup, write, drive, I can actually listen to things and the book kind of continues. So when I'm obsessing over a book, I will download it on my Kindle and on my Audible and I'll keep switching.
So Too Good to Be True, guys, for your information, is available as an ebook, an audiobook, and a physical book. So you have a wide variety to pick from.
Also, I narrated the audiobook, so if you're someone who doesn't read much, you can listen to the narration of it. And the good thing about Audible is that if you're like me and have 0 patience, you can listen to it on 1.5x speed.
There you are. We're coming to Puri after having visited 14 different cities in India, right? And you will have your take on Puri. You already did share how excited you are to be here. You'll have your take on Puri, let's say, at the end of today. But between the 14 cities that you visited, any particular city that has left an impression on you vis-a-vis the book tour? You know, because we saw masses, like hordes of, young readers
Yeah.
coming for you.
I think I was pretty surprised by Indore. Because again, like Puri, I hadn't been to Indore before. It was my first time. And just how lovely everybody was, I think that was a surprise for sure.
My very last question before I open it up to the audience. So Prajakta, we saw a flurry of first readers, as I call them, first readers. How do you think, as, they are all in their schools or colleges or reading at home, but what do you think we should, as, say, parents, decision makers, educators, do to encourage them to stick to the habit of reading or enhance it more besides, let's say, visiting a bookstore? Or do you think that's the starting point of it?
Wow, that's a very deep question. Give me a second. Um, can I tell? Okay. I wish this could be a silly example, but when I was in school, I would read a lot and I would not get any marks for it. Library period was free period. And I was always like, why is this free period? Why do I not get any credit for actually leaving my classroom, going to the library and spending an hour reading books that the school is providing? Why do I not get extra credit for actually not... I mean, I liked reading, so it was good for me. So as educators, I feel like the more you validate the habit with credit, I think could be a way to go. I mean, I barely dragged myself through my bachelor's degree, so I should be the last person who should tell you about academics. But I'm just saying, as a student, I always felt this. And I think any way of getting your child interested in any form of storytelling, I think is a win. Now that could be an audiobook, that could be watching films, that could be reading a book, that could be comics. I mean, all my younger cousins who always ask me how do I start reading, I always tell them to start with comics. I think low commitment is a great place to start with reading. So I think just that. And for me, every time I saw someone I idolized, like for example, I've been a huge fan of Rajmata Gayatri Devi. So when I knew that there's a book she's written, I was very, very excited to read more, because I think now after writing the book, I realized that as an author, you bear yourself the most through your writing. As an actor, you're still playing a character. As a content creator, I'm still doing characters. I'm still in charge of how much I can let go and how much I can keep. But as a writer, I've actually, like I said, I've leaned on to so many personality traits and things that I've done in my life to actually use as inspiration for the book. Having said that, it's a romance book. There's a dirty scene and a chapter in it. It is not real. It is completely fictional. So do not read the book and then think, oh, this is what Prajakta does in her free time. But yeah, I think having a more inclusive space of storytelling, I think could be a way to go.
Great takes on, inculcating the habit of reading, especially in the young, the youth of today. With that, I would want to open it up to our audience members today. If they have any questions, if we can have some mics going around, and if we can have people interested in asking questions, just raise their hands, please. I saw one at the back over there. There's a gentleman. Yeah. If someone could please hand him a mic.
I'm always so scared at this point of the evening, because I'm like, what if nobody has questions? It'll be so awkward.
We are starting with him.
Hi, Prajakta.
Hi.
So I just want to ask
What's your name?
My name is Agnik Ghoshal.
Hi, Atmik.
I just want to ask you, you said that you read books, then you came to writing, correct? But just I want to ask you that, what are the other genres except the romance that helped you writing a book?
Everything I have ever read. I mean, I honestly didn't fall down the whole thriller rabbit hole much. I did read a couple of books that kind of moved me a lot. But I think genre-wise, it's always been romance for me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anybody else
Hi.
with... Yeah. Hi.
Hi, this side. Look in the front.
Oh, sorry. Hi.
There
Sorry.
can be people who want to ask questions
We
in the
saw...
front line.
Yeah, there's a lot of hands out there. Please.
Hi.
Oh, wow. Hi.
I am Dr. Nidhi Garg.
Hello.
And my question to you is, in this era of social media, where validation and rejection comes too fast, was there a point in your career of these content creating, writing, acting, that you thought of giving up? And if there was a point, what was it that kept you continuing, going on? Because we have a lot of youth, and I think they get very disheartened by rejections and feel very high with the validation. So I think coming from you, it would be a good insight that would give to the youth. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I remember in 2017, I hit my first content block. And I thought the only way to go about this was to give up, because as a content creator, if I can't create content, I don't know what to do, because I had picked up content creation as a way of running away from being a radio jockey, which was my lifelong dream. So my plan B was failing, which was scary for me. I think at that time, because I didn't have anything else to do, I didn't want to go back to studying, the only thing I knew to do was keep trying and keep showing up. That's how I dealt with my first content block and kind of got through with it. And then I met with many of them to eventually realize that it's very much a part and parcel of this job that I have. So that was the only time I felt like I had to quit. Thank God I didn't. When it comes to the validation and the rejection, I think I consider myself very privileged, because I started working with a team who had been working in this space for a few years before I joined. So One Digital Entertainment is the company that manages me. That's the team that has helped me build everything that I have today. So I remember very early on in my journey, I was actually sat down to made to understand that hatred is coming no matter what I do or say. Trolls are coming no matter what I do or say. Criticism is coming. Now, uske wajah se what happened was that I'm also a toxic positive person, you know what I mean? A lot of my friends and family get annoyed with me because they'll tell me something that's really sad or something that's troublesome, and I'll be like, yeah, but like the silver lining. And sometimes you don't want the silver lining. Sometimes you just want to vent. So that thing in me, the only place it has ever worked is here. Everywhere else it fails. Sometimes you have to be real in life. So what I learned with this was that I was prepared for this, so it didn't kind of shock me as much as I'd expected that it would. And I started realizing that the community that you're building through the validation that you get online is what is going to take you forward. At this point, if I have the guts to even get up and say, okay, I'm writing a book and then sell that many, is only on the back of my community that I've built for the past decade. That's one. Number two, I also think that I was 21 when I started. Us time pe you're very malleable. Your brain is very malleable. Everything feels like the end of the world. But if you kind of hold your ground and know what you're doing a little bit, I think you can get through with it. I'm 31 now, and now though it's become almost like second nature, where I know that everything I do is going to get an opposite reaction as well. So I go ahead keeping that in mind, because there's a lot that I've also learned from the criticism, otherwise I wouldn't be here. But also there's a lot that I genuinely think I have done because of the love that I got, otherwise I wouldn't have gotten so far. It was a very vague, scattered answer, I know, but I hope it comes close to something useful.
Okay, yeah.
Hello,
Maybe
ma'am.
over there, if we can get the mic to her, please.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
I'm Aditya. As
Hi,
a
Aditya.
writer and a storyteller, I want to ask, जब हम कुछ बुक शुरू करते हैं तो शुरू में एक एंथुजियाज्म होता है, एंड एट द एंड ऑफ द बुक वो एंथुजियाज्म कहीं ना कहीं खत्म हो जाता है. Are you facing the same as we are facing?
Oh, with so many books, वो रख दो book, दूसरी उठा लो. That's the only thing that's worked with me. जिस बुक पे मैं बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम और वो कर देती हूँ ना स्पेंड, कि नहीं खत्म तो करनी है, that experience becomes very sad for me. So the minute a book stops being fun for you, put it down, pick up the next one. There'll be a time when that book will come back to you and you'll enjoy reading it. So that's fine.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Aditya. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, ma'am. I'm Anshika.
Hi, Anshika.
Ma'am, I want to ask you, if you want to write a letter to your younger self today, what will be the first line of it?
Please don't do anything different.
But still.
That would be my first line to myself. Don't do anything different.
Thank you. Can I give you this letter?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Is it to my younger self or my current self?
No. For your current self.
Thank you, Anshika. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I did see some more hands pop up.
Yes, right.
Okay, so
Hello.
you have the mic already. Great.
Yes. Hello, Prajakta.
Hi.
This is Siddharth.
Hi, Siddharth.
First of all, congratulations for your first book, and thank you so much for choosing this city to come over and give a speech.
No, thank you
It's
for
very
calling.
heartwarming to have you
I'm very happy to
Vinas.
be here.
I just want to ask you only one thing. You have mentioned everything about your book, and you just mentioned that the protagonist, the man, is next to the most perfect man ever existing in the world.
He's not next. He is the most perfect.
He is the
man.
most perfect.
Huh.
Okay. So for those of us who haven't read the book yet, I hope many will be there and many will agree with me. What is your idea of a perfect man? I know perfection is the myth and there is no such thing as perfection.
I think perfect is a thing, but it's different for different people. I don't think it's a answer. But yeah, sorry.
Yes, that is my question only. What is your idea of perfection? What type of man you aspire to find out? Having said that, you are already married. I seriously, sincerely apologize for my question, but
No, that's okay. For me, I think there's something very hot about a man who's secure. With his ambition, with his hustle, with his sexuality, a man who has a sense of humor, a man who's respectful, a man who listens, a man who communicates. And I find myself to be extremely fortunate to be married to him. So
that's so sweet.
it's been quite a blessing.
Also, do I earn the chance to click a photo with you after the session is closed?
100%, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Siddharth.
Is the mic all ready with? Yes.
Good afternoon, Prajakta. First of all, congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
Whenever we
May I
start...
know your name, please?
yes, I'm Avinash.
Hi, Avinash.
Whenever we start something new, whenever it's a new journey, we usually take tips of people who are already in that genre. So, being a writer myself, when I asked my seniors that what should be one of the two way, should I have a blueprint of the entire story and I should proceed accordingly, or should I go with the flow and allow the manuscript take its shape? So, what kind of an author has Prajakta been in Too Good to Be True?
So, I've always found character development the most exciting part of every story. Okay? Even when I used to do my sketches and all, I would make detailed characterizations of every character sketches of every character. So when I started working on this, that's how I started. I think I spent the most time in prep just making Avni, Aman, Maya, Riya, Martin, Gagan, all of these characters happen. There were details I pinned down that didn't really even get used in the story, but it helped me think from their direction when I was writing about them. So for me, it always starts with making your characters and knowing them like they're very, very close friends of yours, so you'll know if you like them or not. I knew how I also enjoy meet cutes a lot. I'm always looking forward to that. I'm reading a book right now called Red Flags and Rishtas by Radhika Agarwal. If you haven't read it, it's a Desi rom-com. Please read it. The meet cute is one of my favorite in a while that I've read right now. So then I started working on the meet cute. The meet cute is when they meet for the first time. And I knew how the story ends. That's it. I've kind of winged it the whole while to bridge how this kind of comes together. But this was also my first book. So I don't know if I would want to call this my process, because it's not like I know exactly what I'm doing. When I start working on the next one, I'll see if this is the same approach that I take or if there's a new way that I get to reaching from point A to point B. But if it is different, I'll keep you updated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next question. The lady in red over here.
Hi, what's your name?
Hello, it's Prajakta this side.
What? Love your name.
Thank you. I can say the same for you.
Thank you.
By the way, you are looking so beautiful today.
Thank you, so are you?
Why did you choose the name Too Good to Be True? Why nothing else?
Like I said, it's because the main character in the book, Aman, is a textbook perfect character that doesn't exist in real life. So if you read about him, you'll have trouble believing that this person will ever exist. He's too good to be true.
Thank you, Prajakta.
Thank you, Prajakta. I was really hoping and praying she would say my name one last time.
Hello, Prajakta.
What's
I'm
your name?
I'm Vishnu Priya.
Vishnupriya, hi.
My question for you is how to accept constructive criticism.
I look at it as a part of my job
Yeah.
and as a part of my formal training to get better and make my skill set more varied. As a creator, when I started off, I had absolutely no clue what I'm doing. Not like I completely know what I'm doing right now, but I was very, very blind into the job. And then I started realizing that that's a pattern. When I started acting, my first time on set, as much as I enjoyed being on set and I loved acting, I didn't know what I was doing. So I got to learn on the set when my director told me that ये नहीं ये करना है या इसको ऐसा कर सकती है. अब अगर हर set पे और every video I uploaded, if the only content reaction I was getting was wow, well done, I would have diminished within months.
Yeah.
So as a creator, I feel like constructive criticism for someone like me, who is not trained formally to be a writer, I didn't go to school for acting, there is no school for content creation yet, unless I'm wrong. That's the only way of learning.
Yeah.
I feel like you lean on the love that you get as much as you need to lean on the criticism that you get. Otherwise, you'll never have different perspective. So look at it as a lesson. I mean, most of the time, 100% of the time, it's not personal. Because if it's personal, it's hate.
Okay.
The minute you know it's for your work and it's helping you or it's giving you any kind of perspective that you didn't have before for whatever you're doing, I think it's good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Should we take one last question? We have a lady in black over there. Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Many young writers have great stories.
What's your name?
My name is Samta Ranka.
Your name is?
Samta.
Samta? Nice to meet
Yes.
you.
Thank you. Many young writers have great stories to tell. But they struggle with publishing and marketing and finding the right audience. So what's your take on how beginners can publish and reach the market?
I think Shabnam should take this because she is from the publishing house.
You know, the one thing that beginners who want to be published writers can do is already start sort of like, putting some content out or, like what you're writing, just like snippets of it, just put it out on like some social media platform, ideally Instagram, to build a community, to get like a feel of what people are saying about your writing. Put it out as a taster for them.
Sure.
Build an inbuilt audience for your, like content, and then think of, like extrapolating it into a book is how I would say, but this is not how usually writers do. They write like a book,
Yeah.
But I believe, like a starting point is building a community and then moving on to creating your product. But that's a complete marketer's perspective. You need not take it. You can just write a book, put it out into, the hands of a, like a good publishing house. And we do look at submissions, that we get. There is a submission ID always mentioned on the website of a publisher. You can put in your submission, your manuscript as we call it, onto that. And we do take up, submissions which have promise and get in touch with new aspiring writers thereby.
Thank you, ma'am. That answer was very helpful. Prajakta, ma'am, can we
Yes.
take pictures at last? Me and my friends
After
want
this,
to
yeah,
take
I'm
a
sure,
picture.
100%.
Thank you.
Thanks, Samta.
Is there, we have space for, let's say, one more question for Prajakta, if there is a lady right at the front waiting.
Hello,
Hi.
my name is Jeet and I would like to ask you. what's
Geet?
that? Jeet.
Jeet?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. I would like to ask you that have you ever thought that about writing the biography or autobiography of yourself? Your journey is so inspiring and I'm really a big fan of you.
You know,
And-
Jeet,
Yeah.
I've been oversharing on the internet for a decade.
That's
There is nothing you will read in my book that I haven't said 20 times in a video already. I also don't think I have any knowledge to impart.
okay.
I mean, I've vlogged most of my life. So I don't think there is anything. Maybe Maybe if I've lived more and shared less
But
going
your journey is
forward.
so inspiring, and I'm following you since 2015.
Sorry
appreciate that.
sorry to cut
Thank
you
you,
guys
thank you so
short
much.
here, but this is just to highlight that Jeetu herself is a para-Olympian. Yes.
Hey!
So,
When
it's
are you
like-
writing your autobiography? When do I get to read
But
that?
your journey is so inspiring, and I really learned from you, like your exercise video and all these things. I'm really big fan of, like, really your fitness video, and
Oh my
I'll follow
God.
you.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Gee, that's lovely. Thanks so much and congratulations on
Thank-
everything you've done,
thank
dude.
you.
That's mad.
She's also
So
a gold
nonchalant.
medalist.
This is what I like about champions. They're so nonchalant. Like you meet them the other day when I was at the Paris Olympics, I was at this coffee shop and this guy was just like very nonchalantly, hey, like where are you from? How's it going? And then I saw him running. I was like, you didn't tell me you're an Olympian. Same thing you've done with me now. But nice to meet you. I'd love to chat more later though.
Thank you so much. It's really lovely to see you, but now physically.
Thank you.
All right, so are we taking any more questions? No? Okay. So,
Okay, let's take that one last there and then we can call it a night. Yeah. Can we just pass the mic to her, please?
Hello,
Hi, what's your name?
my name is Ayushi.
Hi,
My
Arushi.
question- Ayushi.
Ayushi, nice to meet you.
Being a content creator of yourself and being an author now, what fascinates you the most? Being in completely different events, like you must have been to a lot of Bollywood related events, and you must have been to some like publishing and author events. So, what is the major difference you feel in this both event?
They're very different, but I enjoy these more. Like these where I get to sit in a room of people where we can discuss tropes and talk about books. I kind of like to geek out a little bit like that.
Thank you.
thank you so much, Prajakta, and thank you, Shabnam.